You know that feeling when plans get canceled? You're supposed to be disappointed, maybe even a little upset, but the moment you see that message, something inside you relaxes. Suddenly, the evening feels lighter. No crowded restaurant, no awkward small talk, no pretending you're still having fun after your social battery has already died. Just you. And if you're being honest, that sounds pretty good. Now, here's the strange part. People often assume that if you enjoy being alone, something must be wrong. Maybe you're antisocial, maybe you're shy, maybe you're missing out. At least that's what society likes to suggest, because everywhere you look, there's the same message. Go out more, meet more people, be more social. But psychology tells a very different story. Because preferring solitude isn't always about avoiding people. Sometimes it's about protecting something much more important, your energy. Most people assume everyone experiences social interaction the same way. They don't. For some people, being around others creates energy. Conversation feels exciting, noise feels stimulating, a busy room feels alive. But for others, the exact opposite happens. Some people genuinely enjoy being around others. The conversations, the laughter, the feeling of being part of something. For them, social interaction feels energizing. But for other people, all that stimulation starts to pile up. Every voice, every reaction, every conversation competing for attention. And little by little, their battery starts to drain. Not because they're having a bad time, just because their brain is working harder. The strange thing is, they can be smiling, they can be enjoying themselves, and still feel exhausted underneath it all. Because while everyone else is simply experiencing the moment, their mind is processing everything. The expressions, the tone, the social dynamics, the things most people barely notice. Even after it's over, their brain often keeps thinking, reflecting, replaying, trying to make sense of everything. That's why many people who enjoy solitude also enjoy control. A familiar space, a predictable environment, a place where things make sense. Because the outside world is messy, unpredictable, full of noise, questions, interruptions, and things you can't control. Messages don't arrive when you expect. People don't always do what they said they would do. And uncertainty quietly consumes mental energy. Every new situation asks your brain to adapt, to analyze, to respond, to figure things out. But then something changes. You finally come home, and suddenly the noise stays outside, the pressure disappears, the pace slows down, and your mind finally gets a chance to breathe. For some people, this isn't loneliness, it isn't avoidance, it's peace. And there's a very important difference between those things. You control the lighting, the noise, the schedule, the pace. And for certain personalities, predictability feels peaceful. Not boring, peaceful. Here's something interesting. Research consistently finds that people who enjoy solitude spend more time reflecting on their own thoughts. Not necessarily because they're smarter, but because they spend more time alone with their minds. They analyze, reflect, question, observe. While some people look outward for stimulation, others find it inward. In ideas, in books, in creativity, in imagination. To an outside observer, it may look like nothing is happening, but inside their minds, an entire world is active. And this is where many misunderstandings begin. Someone sees you spending a Saturday alone and immediately assumes you're lonely. But loneliness and solitude are not the same thing. Not even close. Loneliness is painful. Solitude is chosen. One hurts, the other heals. Many people who enjoy solitude still love their friends, still care deeply about family, still enjoy meaningful conversations. They simply don't need constant interaction to feel connected. For them, quality matters more than quantity. Depth matters more than noise. But there is one important distinction. Healthy solitude feels like a choice. Isolation feels like a prison. When you're alone, do you feel restored or trapped? Do you feel peaceful or disconnected? The answer matters because one creates freedom, the other creates fear. Still, for many people, solitude remains one of the most misunderstood preferences in modern life. We live in a world that constantly rewards being visible, being busy, being everywhere. But some people find meaning in quieter places: a morning coffee, a favorite book, a long walk alone, a room with no expectations. So if you've ever felt guilty for needing space, for turning down plans, for enjoying your own company, remember this: preferring solitude doesn't mean you dislike people. It doesn't mean you're antisocial, and it certainly doesn't mean you're broken. You may simply be wired differently. And in a world that never stops talking, that might be exactly what makes you strong.